Hey everyone, TJDominateDepression.com, and today I'm going to talk about what causes depression and why knowing this is so key to actually getting better, because if you misunderstand this, you're going to be spinning your wheels for a long time. So I'm going to go over secondary symptoms versus root causes, why what causes depression for each person is different, why people don't actually focus on the root causes and what really causes depression, and then how to move forwards from it. And the reason why I'm telling this is because so many people are emailing me and they're confused. And a story that I would like kind of describes it is, let's say you have a fire in your living room, okay? Your house is filling full of smoke and you start coughing. You start coughing because of the smoke, right? So you're coughing because the smoke is getting into your lungs. So what would you do? Would you go and just open up all the windows so that there's less smoke so you don't cough as much and just say get rid of the smoke? Or do you just go into the living room and put out the fire, right? Trying to just push all the smoke out of the windows, that's what most people are doing when it comes to depression, versus actually putting out the fire. And so that's what I mean by focusing on secondary symptoms versus the root causes, right? So a lot of people, they say, oh, they go in here, hey, I'm deficient in serotonin, so I just got to take a pill. Or hey, just go take 5-HTP and you'll be better, or just do this and everything will be good. Right? Because they're focusing on hey, they have this secondary symptom. Hey, let's just fix that. Let's just fix the smoke. Let's just get the smoke out of the window and then everything will be better, right? But that doesn't actually work, because you have to ask yourself, what is causing those symptoms? Why is there smoke in the first place, right? It's because there's that fire, that deeper underlying cause. So for example, I was depressed for 11 years. It was, a horrible time. Very confusing, and in society it was just like, oh, depression is this thing, like we're all just told depression is this thing. And so I went to doctors. They said, hey, you got depression, you got to take antidepressants for the rest of your life. That's just, you just have to take medication because you got this disease, you're stuck with it, probably genetically screwed, so here you go. So I started taking all these antidepressants. They worked for like a month or so. My libido's going all crazy, and then all of a sudden they're not working. Then they have to put me on higher dose, and then they have to put me on medication to fix the symptoms of this medication, right? Because the doctor just saw that I was feeling bad and then said, here's the pill that is going to help you feel better. He just saw the smoke and said, here, this will get rid of some of that smoke, right? But even if you open all the windows, that fire is going to be getting bigger and there's going to be more and more smoke. And so instead of fixing the problem, it's actually just getting worse, but you're just kind of covering it up because you're getting rid of a lot of smoke, so you don't notice how big the fire is getting. And so what I did was, okay, so the antidepressants, they didn't work. So I'm sitting there and I'm super confused, and I just start going to the library. I start reading all these books, and I had brain fog so much that literally it's like if you're driving down the road and the whole street's foggy and you're trying to go on a cross-country trip from one side of the country to the other. I was literally just kind of walking around like, oh man, like just reading books, just like, gotta wake up and just try this one thing, because everything was so painful and so confusing. And I started hacking away at it, and then finally my depression was gone. I stopped eating gluten. I started eating way more vegetables, healthy fats, fixed my diet completely. I fixed a vitamin D and magnesium deficiency, and all of a sudden the problem's gone. And I got off antidepressants using B vitamins and tryptophan, right? Because I couldn't get off antidepressants until I did that. So I got off the antidepressants using natural supplements, and then I fixed my body, and then the depression was gone. And I'm sitting here, they told me I had this disease that I was going to have for the rest of my life. I had to take antidepressants, and now the whole thing is gone because I fixed that. And so the key is, if you kind of want an exercise to help yourself, you just have to ask why multiple times. Just ask yourself why. So in my case, very suicidal, anxiety, depressed. Like if we just stop there, we just could take a pill and it'll help those symptoms. But why was I suicidal and all that? Well, I was feeling that way because my brain wasn't producing enough neurotransmitters and my body wasn't functioning right, so I felt like crap. Why? Well, I had gone through years of stress and trauma, and I was eating like crap, and I was eating food that I was allergic to, and I was deficient in nutrients. So my body didn't have the building blocks necessary to produce those neurotransmitters and function so that I feel good. There it is. There's the problem. So then the root cause, to put out the fire, instead of just the smoke, to actually put out the fire, then is to stop eating gluten, eat really healthy, supplement with some vitamins and minerals to get those back so that I can have them, so I have those building blocks, take a little amino acids so that I'm able to produce serotonin more easily till I get back on track. And then once I'm in that state, then I just got to eat right, sleep good, exercise to maintain that state. And then the problem's solved, right? But in the beginning, all we just focus on, hey, I'm suicidal, I'm depressed, I have anxiety. What do we got to do to just help ease those symptoms? We didn't go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And so that's what you have to do if you're going to actually fix depression. Because depression, if we just think of depression as this thing, then we're just trying to fix the smoke. But you have to say, what's causing the depression? Why is there smoke there in the first place? All right, so we know that the smoke is a symptom. It's causing us to cough, but we got to fix the fire. Now, another common error is people don't realize that what causes depression for each person is different. One person, the fire might be an oil fire, so they got to use a different kind of extinguisher to put it out. One person's fire might be in, the bedroom or whatever, different places. What causes depression for each person is different. And so we get trapped in this idea that one person finds some kind of solution for themselves and they start proclaiming it out like this is a solution for everybody, right? One person takes 5-HTP and says, this is it, this is a solution, you're all good, just take the supplement. And you go and try it and you're like, hey, I'm still depressed. I mean, some people it works, but some people, hey, they're still depressed. It's like the one person that eats bananas all day and carbs, all they eat is carbs and they feel great. So they go, hey, all carb diet is the best for everybody. But then another person genetically actually does better with fats and a lot of healthy fat, right? That person's not going to do very good eating bananas. One person eating carbs all day, that might be good for this person, but for this person, their body responds to fats and carbs. And so, for example, someone actually commented, so here's how common this is. So one person already knew there was no deficiency in magnesium, but someone probably told them it was the answer to everything, so they took it anyways. And they said, I am not deficient of magnesium. Despite that, someone told me to use magnesium citrate to feel better. I took hardly 1/4 a teaspoon for 3 days, and then I felt terrible pain in my shoulder and my wrists. Can you give me your views about it, right? So the thing is, if you're not deficient in magnesium, don't take magnesium. That's not what you need, right? So someone was saying magnesium is a cure for everything. Maybe, they had a supplement or something. And even though he wasn't deficient in it, he still took it because he thought it would help him. But what he doesn't realize is he has to figure out what's causing depression for him. And so let's say this other person, so another thing that people do too is they get frustrated when some supplements work and some don't. Like this person says, hey, can you tell me your current regimen to prevent depression? I've been through so many supplements, most of them suck. I'm on methyl B12 and magnesium for anxiety right now. Those are the only ones that work for me. So he kind of, it sounds a little negative there, but actually that person is on the right track because he's finding out which supplements don't work. So if you try something and it doesn't work, that's actually a good thing. That means that you don't need those that's not part of your root causes. That's not part of your root cause. You don't need, so if you take magnesium and it doesn't work, great. You're not deficient in magnesium. That's one thing to cross off the list. Let's go to the next, right? And with him, hey, if methyl B12 is working, why? Are you deficient in other B vitamins? And then why are you deficient in B vitamins in the first place? Is your diet really weird so it's super low in B vitamins? Or is there some kind of genetic thing going on? So then we start getting to the root cause, and then he can actually fix his depression. Because what causes depression for him is different. What causes depression for me is different. If one person has a vitamin D deficiency, their regimen for getting better is going to be way different than someone that has a chronic Epstein-Barr virus, leaky gut, parasites, and adrenal fatigue. Like that person is going to require a whole different scenario to fix his depression than this other person, right? It's like depression is more, here's the symptom. Okay, why am I feeling depressed? And then once we get to there, okay, why is this working? Why is this a problem? Or what do I need to do to fix it? Right? You got to go a few levels deep, and then you got to realize that what causes depression for one person is different than the next. So there's not one size fits all. There's a million different reasons for depression. You have to figure out what causes depression for you. So we talk about what causes depression, how you got to go a few levels deep. We talked about what causes depression for each person is different, so you can't just hear something, say, hey, this is a miracle cure, so I'm going to do this, it works for everybody, because each person has a different reason for why they're depressed. And so why does no one talk about this, right? Why is this not a mainstream idea? And the reason is, focusing on fixing root causes takes work. Let me ask you a question. So I have this video, I'm going to put a title on there, what causes depression. But let's say I made a video, and what do you think would cause more people to watch the video? If I titled it, "This one little secret supplement that scientists hate, that 98.4% of all people that took it cured their depression," versus go through this trial and error process, get tests done, figure out the root causes for your depression, and then slowly work on it, fix it over maybe 2 to 6 months, and then build a healthy lifestyle and foundation that's going to take work and beat depression long term and be depression free for the rest of your life. Right? The people are going to click the first one. Hey, one little quick trick to feel better, right? And why? Because our brains are built for efficiency, right? If I want to go and visit my friend and he lives, it takes 23 minutes to drive there, but 4 hours to walk there, it'd be stupid to walk there. That's not energy efficient. Our brains for survival are always going to do the most efficient thing. If doing something really quick is going to do the trick, our brain's going to want to do that because that's the best way to fix it. Our brains are always going to find the laziest, most efficient way to do it. So that's how advertising works. Hey, one quick trick, one quick pill is going to fix your depression. Your brain goes, great, I'm going to do that. Because if it sees, oh, you got to find your root causes, you got to do all this work, your brain's going to not respond to that as quickly because it's like, hey, that takes too much energy. I'm going to try and find the easiest way to do this. Okay, so we know you got to focus on what actually causes depression. You got to go levels deep. You know that what causes depression for each person is completely different than the next person, and you know why your brain is going to want to go for those easy solutions. Hey, just take this quick antidepressant, everything's going to be better, versus actually fixing the problem. So how do you actually move forwards, right? How you move forwards is you got to just realize you have to figure out what's happening for you. There's no miracle cure for everybody. There's no one pill that's going to do the trick. We got to figure out what is going to happen for you. Just think about it. Whatever your root causes are, you have to fix that before anything will ever improve. If someone's deficient in vitamin D, let's say they're completely deficient in vitamin D, nothing is going to work except for taking more vitamin D. If that person takes antidepressants, sure, they might feel better, but it's not going to last very long, and they still have a deficiency in vitamin D. They're still going to feel like crap. They're opening the window, they're pushing all the smoke out, but the vitamin D deficiency, the fire is still there burning. Nothing's going to put out that fire other than putting out the fire, okay? So you got to focus on what causes depression for you. You have to figure out your root causes. You have to get testing. You got to do some trial and error. You have to figure out why this is happening, go a few levels deep, resolve it at the root level, and then the depression will be gone. So let me know in the comments. Let me know if you guys have any questions on this concept. I don't know how many views this is going to get because it's not really that sexy topic. It's not, hey, take this one quick pill, everything's going to be better. But this is just the truth. The truth is, with depression, what causes it is completely different. There's a bunch of layers going on. You have to get to the root cause. You have to focus on the root causes versus secondary symptoms, and you have to realize that for you, it might take some work until you actually figure out what those are, and then you got to put in the work to actually fix them. So take care. Hope you enjoyed this, and just go a few levels deep, fix your depression at the root level, put out the fire, quit just blowing the smoke out of the windows. Quit focusing on the smoke, put out the fire.